harassment cases is one part of it. To me, the big part is sexism. As long as we don't deal with sexism, we'll have sexual harassment. And I'm passionate about it because I've lived my life and my work being completely, like keeping complete integrity all my life. All my life I've lived through those principles, because I really believe it's wrong for men to use power as a way to get what they want from women, and for women to use sex to get what they want from men. I mean, I've always found that horrific. And my mother was a hardcore feminist, and my dad, too, is a feminist. And I was raised with this idea that doing that is prostitution, and it's wrong. It's extremely wrong. And it's interesting that it's finally coming out. I remember when I was 17, I dared to speak about it, and in France. It's not just America, let's face it, And I was crushed by the press for even daring to, she's quelle moralisatrice, moralistic. What's moralistic about thinking that, and saying that sex for a job or pushing, and using power to get what you want from a woman is not wrong. I mean, it's completely wrong ethically. But, for years it was okay. It was completely accepted by everyone. Everyone took it as normal, And I was the only one that was, yeah, maybe I'm moralistic, but my morals are very, specific. And I believe, as a woman, I make a point of, really, I've never been with anyone outside of people I was attracted to or in love with, And I'm not sure everyone can say that. I arrived in America, one of the first person I met was a girl that was one of Harvey's victims who told me a story. I was like, oh, I left France, here I am in America, it's the same, but it's behind closed doors. So I knew about Harvey in '92 when I first moved to the US, one of the very first person, I stayed at her house. I mean, actually at her neighbor's house, but I was friends with her. I had pressure from American directors with that stuff, agents, managers, at the time when I was young. Now it's not at all this situation, but I'm older. No one wants to sexually harass me. But it's an interesting thing that it's all happening now, and it's getting tired, and some people are sick of it already and stuff. And I think some people are mixing up flirting with sexual harassment, and everything's getting mixed up, and it's a lot of noise. And but one thing we're not talking enough is sexism. And I think that's the big culprit behind sexual harassment, is that, and one of my friend that was another friend of mine that was sexually harassed by Harvey, it's not real sexual harassment, it was something else. It was actually very violent. He asked her if she would fuck him. She said no. He didn't touch her, didn't do anything, and he said, get the fuck out. And what was interesting in that is that it was about power. She was a lawyer, she was producing movies, she was all this, and he was crushing her professionally. When I said no to some men when I was really young, early in my career, they didn't grab me and tear my clothes and do all this, but what they did is after I said no, of course they didn't go tell everybody that I said no, because it made them seem like I said no. They went around saying I was crazy, I was difficult, hurting me forever. Because it's very easy to believe a powerful man when he says of a woman that she's crazy and difficult, especially crazy, emotional crazy. So it's an issue. It's a big issue. And my problem is not flirtatious men. I've worked with Bill Murray, for example. He's very funny. He tells me I have a great ass. I'm super happy that Bill Murray is telling me I have a great ass, and I'm happy he's doing it, and I want him to keep on saying it. But he's not using power to crush me. I think the danger is the power and the crushing, and it doesn't necessarily involve sex or sexual harassment. It involves, sexism. I was just crushed by an American lawyer with his sexism by he discredited me with one word. during a conversation in front of the financiers that were going to invest in my film. He said, "Oh, let's not make this emotional." I was not even talking. So what's interesting to me is that you can crush a woman with that, because what does emotional means in the head of people with money? It means unreliable, out of control, crazy, and it means I'm going to make their money go to shit, which is not at all my track record of any of my film. I'm not crazy. I'm not, even if I'm emotional, I'm not more emotional than David or Russell, for example. You know, I mean, it's like definitely less, not those kinds of emotion at least. So, you know, it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and to speak about it, it's like, oof, you know, it's not just sexual harassment, it's sexism, like that women don't have the same opportunity as men, they're not paid the same, they're not in the position that men are. And that's the problem. All my films were financed out of Europe because there is a bit more of an opening, and the idea of emotional women is not as scary, I think, for European financiers, because emotions don't equate with trouble. You know, I think male European filmmaker embrace their sensitivity, you know, more. I think it's a shame for actually the U.S., because this idea that emotion are negative is a very strange thing, because when you listen to good filmmaker, even American filmmaker, it's obvious that they're in touch with their emotions. You cannot direct a movie. It's not an army. A movie is not, yes, you have to make decisions, you have to be strong, you have to be this and that, but you don't have to be a robot to make a film. The opposite. If you're a robot, you're not going to make a good film.